I'm gonna do what I can to keep this one short. I have a video coming out here soon, tangentially related to the topic, but this new development demands a response that, well, you're not gonna see in that video. You might have heard now that Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of high-ranking military officials to return to the United States for an emergency meeting at the secure military facility in Quantico, Virginia. This meeting is set to take place next week, right before the looming federal government shutdown. Whether or not the useless sack of shit known as Chuck Schumer decides to sell out the American people again by rubber stamping some continuing resolution, or just signing off on whatever insane spending package that the fascist pigs in the GOP come with, well, that really remains to be seen. That all being said, it is highly unusual for a meeting like this to take place to begin with, let alone to get confirmed by them. The US military already has highly specialized security systems in place. Anything of importance that they would need to be conveyed doesn't need to be done in person. That is, unless for some reason the US government suspects that their systems have been compromised. But if that was the case, they would likely have shown other indicators of that. Nor would this really be necessary if we were about to start a war. You don't pull your top generals away right before declaring a war. That being said, Russia did recently test our response capabilities in Alaska. Russia's also been testing Polish and Estonian airspace this last week. These incursions weren't meant to trigger a full NATO response, more to just test what we can do. That being said, they probably do expect some degree of a proportional response. Perhaps that is what we saw recently with Trump, claiming that Ukraine could take back the entirety of their lands, and the shift once again back toward more US support for Ukraine. So, what is it that I suspect is happening here? Why is this all important? My assessment, for what it's worth, is that Petey Boy is about to use this meeting to sift out what remaining disloyal generals might still remain. Quote-unquote disloyal. It's entirely possible they'll be asked to take a brand new oath, one that puts their loyalty not to the Constitution, but to Trump himself. And I also believe during this meeting that they will be using this as a chance to explain to the generals that they're about to be turning on the American people. I think that they are going to be using this looming federal government shutdown as a pretense, especially as the conditions rapidly deteriorate once it does happen. Because once the government is shut down, it's entirely possible that the baboons in the GOP won't be politically competent enough to restart it. At the same time, plenty of them want it to stay down in the first place. Perhaps the reason the GOP has totally been shutting out Senate Dems, even though it makes it easier politically for them to blame the GOP for it all, is purely because they want to use this as a moment, as a pretense for a full-throated crackdown by the federal government on blue states and cities. So-called Antifa threats and their supporters will be used as a pretext for arresting those who protest against it when it does happen. This is how they get away with doing to you what they've already been doing to the immigrant population. Are you going to let them?
Choose to fight back and organize a strike, a national strike, a multi-pronged boycott, an indefinite nationwide boycott on strategic industries like public transportation. Carpool associations, do it. Develop networks. Offer van services if you have one, and fund it through donations at participating churches who have also decided that fighting is better than slavery and constant orange-colored humiliation. And real quick, just check out the description or email us to find out how to join a resistance that requires sacrifice. Yes, it does. But you are going to have to decide how much more of this humiliation that we're willing to take. Because tomorrow, we fight. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.